Anxiety is part of our sympathetic nervous system. So anxiety begins in the body, and it is there to help us to prepare in the face of a threat or a perceived threat. So anxiety is actually a very normal part of human experience from the time that we are born to the time that we die. We need to have anxiety as part of our makeup. Anxiety becomes a problem for people when the experience of a perceived threat overwhelms that person's ability to cope. I think that anxiety is becoming more common in people now, and I think the reason for that is twofold. The first is because there's so much out there thinking about anxiety as a concrete health problem that the message is almost that we shouldn't be experiencing anxiety at all. So quite kind of within normal range of anxiety can be perceived by a person as being abnormal, which in itself could be experienced as something psychologically threatening. The second reason why there's an increase in anxiety is because of the pressures of everyday living have increased with things like technology and our socio-economic climate. There's a lot of pressure on people to do more and to do it faster. So people are unable to have the space, I believe, really needed in order to be able to manage all their emotional experiences, the frustrations and stresses and so forth. So I think that that's why there's an increase in anxiety. I think if someone is experiencing anxiety, sometimes a person can find ways in themselves to be able to manage that anxiety. But it depends on the severity and also how long that anxiety has been going on for. So I think that if someone is experiencing severe anxiety, which means overbearing amounts of anxiety for a long period of time, that person should seek some help in the way of individual psychological treatment. But if it is, say, a situational anxiety, or it's moderate, not very long lasting, I think there are some things that an individual person can do in order to manage that anxiety. And given what I was saying before, one of the first things a person can do when they're experiencing anxiety is to acknowledge that it's a normal response to a situation that they are perceiving as threatening. And that might be simply things like not knowing, a sense of uncertainty, a fear of the unknown. Because anxiety starts in the body and is a bodily experience, chronic anxiety can have physical health consequences. So, for example, the research would show that even 10 minutes of experiencing high levels of anxiety that might encompass other emotions, such as anger or stress, that reduces our immune response by 30%. So you can imagine that if anxiety is experienced in a chronic way, that can have physical health consequences. Often it's quite psychosomatically based health problems, such as asthma, eczema, dermatitis, possibly autoimmune problems. Some people are constitutionally and temperamentally more anxious than others. Some people's threat response is more sensitive.